It's been over a year since the schedule of 2022 World Cup was announced. India Pakistan, the most marquee encounter. People had been looking forward for it for a year. Rain was supposedly going to wash out this game. Quite a lot of question marks, quite a lot of tensions leading up onto the game between India and Pakistan. But boy, I think this is one of the most memorable game people would have witnessed at the stadium, and for all the fans like us who've been fed up of all the bilateral games, this is one for the ages. Just recapping what happened earlier today. Before that, I have Suman with me, who's woken up early in the morning through the night watching India Pakistan from New York. Suman, how are you doing?
Very good, very good. It was much anticipated game, like you mentioned. Everybody was nervous about the weather forecast, but glad we got the full 40 over game. Very thrilled. Cannot come at a better time for India with Diwali around the corner. But I'll let you recap. There is a lot to talk.
Lots and lots to talk. Obviously, the game was played at the MCG, a record crowd for a T20 game. I think over 90 or 1,000. Lots of Indians and Pakistanis. The Australians must be thinking what's happening here. But yeah, electing to bowl first, India restricted Pakistan for 159. Notable contributions from Shan Masood and I'm forgetting the other guy's name actually. 50
Iftikhar.
from Iftikhar, in fact. Yeah, the openers went out cheaply. Very good opening bowling combination between Arshdeep, Shami, and Bhuvi. The middle order did well. India pulled things back, and there was a flurry of boundary sixes at the end. But to start with, Suman, what do you make of the bowling performance from India and the batting from Pakistan?
Fantastic start. I mean, the way Arshdeep started the innings, and it was a great toss to win for India because we have been following through the weather pattern. It was quite windy and overcast conditions, and Bhuvi started outstandingly well. I think it was a maiden over out barring a wide, and then Arshdeep Singh uh, getting Babar Azam and setting up Mohammad Rizwan. Could not have asked for a better start for India. I think in the middle overs, Pakistan was expected to come back. Shan Masood got a couple of lives. He made better use of it. Pakistan made a great comeback in the middle overs, but even in the end, restricting them to 160 was India would have been very happy. Probably they would have expected Pakistan to be by 140, 145 would have been the preference. 160 was probably a par score on this. Pakistan made a really good comeback after the way India started the innings.
Yeah, at the toss, Barber did say that they were looking around 160. But yeah, it was a pass score considering how good bowling lineup Pakistan has. And yeah, it was, I think, 50-50 in the mid innings. I thought if we can get a good start, then this will be an easy game. But boy, we had a terrible start. You've got Rahul going out for cheaply. Then you had Rohit not making much runs. And then we had Akshar Patel and Suryakumar Yadav all going out very cheaply, 32 for 4. At that point in time, I'm thinking this is game set match for Pakistan. But then King Kohli, who's been under so much pressure leading up to the Asia Cup, the World Cup, lots of talks around whether he should be dropped, whether he should open the batting, whether his strike rate is too low, etc., etc. But I think he's turned the clock back. Reminds me of 2016, and he mentioned this in this post-match contribution. He did say that this is probably his best innings, equal to what he did in the semi-finals of the 2016 World Cup. But at 32 for 4, what were your thoughts? They were going too slowly. I thought they were just going to leave it for the end, and there'd be too much to do.
Yeah, I was getting anxious to be frank, but with Kohli being at the crease and Hardik Pandya, we all know what Hardik Pandya's self confidence and self belief is. And you've seen and heard Virat Kohli speak in the post match conference. Hardik Pandya was saying, just believe in yourself. We will continue to get this game till the end. And with Hardik and Kohli being there, there was always a glimmer of hope, and especially versus Pakistan, right? As much as we were thinking the equation is getting out of hand, we all know it is an India Pakistan game. Nobody will leave it so deep and to lose it. So it was thrilling encounter, and I'm glad that it went to the last over. I was in fact looking forward for a super over setup, but guess what? Ashwin had other plans. But I never thought that India were out of the game as long as Virat and Hardik were there. We've all known what they're capable of. One thing I would definitely say though, that at the start of the tournament or before the tournament, including me, were questioning if Virat should be part of the T20 setup in altogether. Like all arguments aside, this is a memorable innings. It's vintage Kohli innings, proper chase master, and the way he took on uh, Haris Rauf. Haris Rauf is a very very fast bowler and also a T20 specialist. Taking him down was a fantastic ploy. Even in the post match, he mentioned that they decided to get Haris Rauf on, which will create panic. And clearly, you saw Babar Azam in the last over. Getting Nawaz to the last over was a huge mistake, a tactical error. He should have bowled ahead of Rauf and Rauf as the last over. But then in 20th over, you saw Mohammad Nawaz panic so much that he started bowling full tosses, he started bowling leg side. DK was a blip. Otherwise, if it would have connected, we would have said that DK is a finisher. It was a complete blip. I wouldn't fault DK for that. So, but I never had a doubt that India would not end up winning the game with Kohli and Hardik on strike.
I'm going to pause and recap. So in between, because there's so much happened in the last 8 balls. So 32 for 4, then things stabilize, 100 in partnership. We need 48 from the last three. Obviously, one of the reasons why Nawaz wasn't bowled because he was taken for three sixes, just like Akshar was taken for three sixes. So I think Babar was okay, hoping that one of these would get out and then he can get that over from Nawaz. But that just kept delaying and delaying. 8 balls and 28 runs required. With a Pakistan bowling attack, 2 balls left from Haris Rauf, I have never seen anyone hit those two sixes in such immense pressure. This is effectively a knockout because I think anyone who loses between India, Pakistan, and South Africa within those three, all the matches between them, I don't think they'll progress. So I think in that pressure situation, I'm thinking that I think Hardik Pandya's got the best chance to hit those sixes. But Kohli, that six of a short of the leg delivery straight over his head, I just couldn't believe my eyes that ball's gone for a six. And the next one goes over fine leg for a six. 2 balls, 12 runs. And I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing. 16 runs is quite easy to get in the last over, Suman.
Absolutely. I think those 12 runs set up the game nicely because we could see the confidence once that straight six over the head of Ralph Virat Kohli hit. I think that gave him also immense confidence that he's back into the mix and he's got that ability. And if you see the last six over fine leg flick, he knew that it was going to be full and probably on the legs. And you could see the crowd at whoever was the cameraman after hitting that six over the head of Rao. You could see in the background like a Ben Stokes crowd erupting. It was fascinating, and this is a perfect India versus Pakistan encounter. 90 plus thousand crowd. It was awesome. Virat Kohli brought that cheer back in India, which we always wanted him to perform. And I think what better stage on a World Cup opener to avenge the Asia Cup loss and also last year's T20 loss in the World Cup. There's a lot to write for, and it's going to be a fantastic Diwali back home in India.
Absolutely. At this point, I'm going to tell my viewers that our friend Suman had tickets to these World Cup match. Obviously, due to personal circumstances, he couldn't travel. But boy, Suman, if you had been there, I think this would have been a lifetime memory.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and even Adi from San Fran had plans to go. I mean, in any India-Pakistan encounter, it is fascinating. I've been there in 2017 Champions Trophy, so I personally know how it feels. But 90,000 crowd winning of a last ball, Ashwin winning it. What else do we need? I mean, this was a proper India versus Pakistan encounter. And Sanjay, I know that you were slightly disappointed with the kind of build up and no excitement leading up to the game. How do you feel leading up to the game versus the result now? And what do you think about India's chances for the rest of the tournament with this fantastic start?
I haven't screamed so much watching a cricket match. I think ever since I don't even remember, because there have been so many dull encounters. But this one, when Kohli is obviously one of my favorite players ever. Hitting those two sixes and then coming on to the last over, and then so much emotion right from the start. Babar Azam, Rohit Sharma, they almost had tear in their eyes when the national anthem was being played. Goosebumps, and just the whole atmosphere created and the build up. Obviously, I thought it wasn't as much, but the game absolutely lived up to it. There was so much riding in for both the teams. You had the early wickets in both these innings, middle order that's not been tested. Virat Kohli in form, out of form, not delivering in big games. And then, the last three balls. Now, here's what I want to ask from Pakistan perspective. Now, two things that have happened here. One is, I think they need what, two balls, seven runs, three balls, 12 runs they need, right? Three balls, 13 runs, and Nawaz bowls a full toss, which I think in all the Pakistani social media, should have been a no ball or not. It is a 50-50 call in my opinion. So obviously that's a full toss. Kohli smacks it. Slight misfeel, I would say, but yeah, it was always going for a six. And then the equation changes completely. Now you need just six of three balls. So I think that one point, and then the next ball, it's a free hit. It becomes a wide. The free hit still remains, and then there's a Yorker. Kohli misses it, hits the stumps. The stumps are broken, and they run three. I think those two instances, from Pakistani fan perspective, Suman, do you think they're hard done by? One is, I think this rule of ball hitting the stumps, and this I think must have changed recently because it used to be a dead ball. Do you think they were hard done by at all?
No ball was a close call. Look, it could go either way, and the umpire was Marius Erasmus. That's impossible umpire, if you remember from South Africa
Yep.
series.
Yep.
So I would give him the credit for making that decision. And if you look at the replay, it was a close call. If it would have not been given, we would have said, "Hey, it was a no ball." But match awareness of Virat outstanding under that pressure, stumps. And even Nawaz thought that he got a wicket. He forgot that it was a wide and the free hit was discounted. He thought he got Kohli and he was trying to appeal. I think half Pakistan team was thinking that, hey, they got the wicket, but match awareness of Kohli. I would think it will come down to the who handled the pressure well. Babar Azam, inexperience as a captaincy, clearly showed up in the last over. And Nawaz was succumbing to pressure. You could see from his facial expressions. But we have Shivam and Adi from San Fran joining in. What are the reactions after India victory versus Pakistan?
So I've just had a vision after I just saw Rohit carrying Virat. Never dreamt of watching something like this. Rohit lifting Virat and such camaraderie. But I just had a vision. Uh, on the day of the finals, we win, and Rohit taking Virat along, to pick up the trophy. So you might call it a dream, but that's going to happen. See, because I made all the right predictions today. 160 target, where you are. KL Rahul looking so nervous. He was looking like he's going to shit in his pants as soon as China Priti came to ball. And the way he was, poking at the ball, it was very clear. Out होना ही है. और मैंने बोला था निदास ट्रॉफी, सर वही हुआ, खाली डीके की जगह कोहली हो गया. But it was almost Nida's trophy. What 28 of 6 balls, 7 balls, and it's absolutely crazy. I think this win. I think this is Virat's win. It's very clear. Yes, our bowlers bowled well, or Hardik gave support, whatever. Ashwin, the genius, letting that wide go. But I think this is just Virat winning. And a couple of points. I think it was smart from Babar. Suman sir, I think it was smart from him, leaving the Nawaz to the last over. See, because last over, if Nawaz would have bowled earlier, Hardik would have, it would have been easier for Hardik to correct and get those two sixes, and then the required, runs would have been less, be slightly easier. 28 required of 8 balls. See, that was completely, only Kohli could have done it, right? Last 2 balls and one Roff को दो छक्के मारना, it became that bit easier. 28 का 16 हो गया. But I think it was really smart from Babar because if only one had connected and last over में 20 plus चाहिए होता, so I think Nawaz would have, or maybe it would have been higher chance that Nawaz would have defended it. So I think that was smart from Babar. But absolutely Virat's win, crazy.
We also have Aditya from Sunfront. Aditya, how
Yeah,
how
no, like,
how well have you enjoyed this win?
yeah. Now what is it, like 5:30 a.m.? So match start, the time zones are pretty messed up, right? For West Coast especially, because the match starts at 1 a.m. and now this match went on till the wire, and then I'm not able to sleep now as well, right? Because you're so buzzed after the win that you're like, hey, it's not like it's 5 a.m., but you're still wide awake. But yeah, like this, it almost felt like, hey, Hardik started off well, but after that he kind of, wasn't able to connect, even wasn't running. I think he has a niggle, like the world famous niggle, right? As soon as he completed his quota of overs, he sat down, Huda or someone came and fielded. So maybe it was that. But after a point, it was like once Kohli started connecting, I was like, man, like if we lose this match, it'll suck, like, because Kohli's in such good form. He's hitting every baller. Like that over where he hit Shaheen Afridi for I think 17 or something, right? Like then I was like, dude, like that is like a very big thing. And if we don't win today, it'll be like disappointing. So then one after the other, everything else conspired, right? Like there's this quote from The Alchemist. I put out a tweet on that as well, like that when you really want something, the universe conspires to make it happen for you. So this was like that for Kohli. Kohli really wanted the win. You could
सर
see the
हम
how
सॉरी
much
सॉरी टू
how
कम इन
much he
बिटवीन,
went for it.
हम थोड़े देसी हैं.
Hmm.
हम थोड़े देसी हैं, हमें ओम शांति ओम वाला समझ में आता है कि
Same.
पूरी कायनात में वो करके देगी. सॉरी सॉरी गो.
Exactly. No, the same thing, right? Like think of so many things which went well, right? Like the two sixes, the last six of Harris Rauf was like just, it could have been caught like on another day, right? Like it was just a matter of 1 meter or something. And then the last over, you all know, like the wides, the no ball call, the buys. Like an umpire could have said that buy doesn't count. Like it's at the discretion of the umpire, because is the ball dead or not is a question mark, right? So yeah, and even the Ashwin's presence of mind, having said that, right? If he moved like DK, super over, right? So it it all worked out. Glad that it did. Now hopefully we win the South Africa match as well, and then go on to the semi-finals. So taking it one step at a time, not thinking about final yet.
And from an
I have to
Arshdeep Singh point
imagine
of
the
view,
trophy also.
yeah, trophy, there's a long way to go, Shivam. We have still few games to go. But a word on Arshdeep Singh, right? 3 for 33, 31, I think, in 4 overs. He set the game up. Unfortunately, a 1 over of Akshar Patel is a blip, which we need to figure a way out how to get that sixth bowler option. But how do you think Arshdeep Singh started, especially after that Asia Cup trolling which he had because of the last over?
So I think the good part is that the guy has got good heart. He has a good, stable head on his shoulders. That's the good part. And the thing with Rohit is, he has immense backing for his place. I mean, not that the other captains did not have, but with Rohit, it's that bit more extra. You have seen it in Mumbai Indians as well. So good to see, Arshdeep keeping his calm and delivering. And I think, maybe you guys are, better experts than me. See, we always say that Australia, there's no swing, right? But in the first 5 overs or 4 overs, I was only seeing swing only. Maybe that was not swing in the air, that was movement of the pitch, that was seam movement and not swing. But, there were a lot of talks that, Bhuvi is not suited for Australian conditions. We need hit the pitch bowlers. There's no swing, right? But for the first 4 5 overs, still Bhuvi is our best bet, right? And I quite like this move of dropping Harshal, and it was quite clear from the warm up match, right, that they were irrespective of the fact that Shami did not have any match practice, but they were backing him to bowl at the depth, and maybe he was doing that in the nets. We saw that in the warm up match. Ashdeep, yes, he has that habit of that last over going for 15 17 runs. But still, I think that was a bold and a right move, because Harshil was not the right way to go, right? So I think this bowling combination looks good. Maybe some pitches which are a little drier, you would like to see Chahal come in for Axar or Ashwin. But apart from that, this looks good. And just one point. See, I think one Hardik has been in real good form, right? But one element that he needs to add to his game is that, those little scoop shots and all that stuff. See, when a bowler like Harris Roth is bowling at 150 and bouncing the ball, uh, you cannot go, try to play cross batted shots. So उस टाइम पे those DK का and Surya Kumar का cute scoops and sweeps and all that was required to use Harris Raw's space. Hardik Pandya tried 10 times and failed 10 times. So वहां पे I think he needs to deliver that. He needs to develop that game of playing those scoops or whatever, or just take a single. I think maybe because the last few months he has done so well, I could see a little sense of overconfidence. You know, denying the twos as well to Kohli. Maybe he was injured. If he was injured, he should have retired hurt, right? And let DK come in. It was very close. I mean, Hardik Pandya had almost, I should not say it, but almost lost the game for us. If it was not for Kohli's brilliance, the game was gone.
Yeah, there were lots of positive. And Adi, Babar Azam in the post-match is saying that he went with his strike bowlers because he needed wicket and left Nawaz. So do you think if he would have gotten another chance to replay this, he would do the same thing, or would he wait for Haris Rav to bowl 20th?
No, what Babar did was right. Like, execution is a different thing by Nawaz, but you always keep your weakest link to the last over. Like, give them maximum number of runs you want to give them. Like, think about it. Like, it was 3 overs 48, right? So essentially, the 2 overs went for 32. So if I had gone for 20 or 25, then 22, 23 in the last over would be really tough. So he did the right call. He made the right call. And even on India's playing 11, I think this is correct. Like, I am not a big fan of not having a left-hander, then promoting Akshar to create a left-hander in the top 5-6. I would rather put in Pant in this playing 11, remove KL Rahul. That might be too radical, or like in the place of DK, right? Pant. So that is the only change I would make. But I like this combination of having 6 bowling options. Akshar had a bad day that 1 over. It's fine. That happens. But this combination is good. Like, worst case, if you feel like you're playing on a pitch where spinners are not getting anything, then probably I would remove Ashwin and play Harshal. So like that is the only change I would make. But we are seeing in other grounds, I think Hobart and other places, we play in Adelaide. Perth, I think obviously it's going to be like this, similar. But Hobart, Adelaide and Sydney, where we play, we probably need 2 spinners. So
I think Adelaide and Sydney, Chahal will come in.
Yeah.
Because I think that pitch assists spinners, Adelaide and SCG.
Yeah.
And Sanjay, we play Netherlands next, which is perfectly set up. Any surprises we can expect? Netherlands giving run for India's money, or should be an easy victory and going to the top of the table?
I think KL Rahul, that's KL Rahul's game, so he'll be right back in.
50. Like, I am willing to put a wager that he'll score a 50.
Yeah.
No, see, the problem with KL Rahul, I mean, sir, when even Rohit Sharma is batting, see, you could see it shine Afridi, and even Rohit is giving him respect. But at least, even if you're defending the ball, you need to defend with intent. The bat has to come in that way. With Rahul, it's like you've been forced to play. Like, he was forced to open. And oh shit, Shine is bowling. Oh shit, Naseem Shah is bowling. It was clearly evident on his face. So he first had to make that change in the mindset, and then probably go out and play. Otherwise, absolutely, you guys are right. He'll score 20 ball 50 against Netherlands, and then we'll be again in the same vicious circle.
I think he plays his best cricket when there's less or no pressure in. That's pretty much proven in the last whatever important games India has played. So yeah, I think India should should have an easy run from now on. Obviously, the only big game they have is the South African game. So, barring any major slip ups, India should top the group, because this was, I personally thought this was going to be a knockout game, because India Pakistan, obviously the rivalry, etc. And we almost lost it. This is Virat Kohli's game, and this will be remembered for years and years and years to come. I think this will top in all of his international career, probably the number two or three. Including test matches, one days, everything that he's played. But obviously, the end result matters, because he had a very, very successful 2016 campaign as well. But some of the teammates probably let him down. He didn't do as much as others didn't do as much as they would have expected. I think it just it just kickstarts the tournament, because we've had three very poor games, very one-sided games. So all we are looking for is a very exciting tournament from here on.
And I just hope he gets a lot of text messages. This guy needs to be happy. So he gets a lot of messages today, and then he doesn't complain. मेरे को message नहीं आया किसी का. So he just needs to be happy.
Now he won't care about messages. Now he's speechless. Like he's in like other zone. He's reached his like 2016, 2015 level zone now, because after that Asia Cup 100, he's been consistently playing really well. He's got his touch back. That is super important. Even when India was playing those T20s in India, he was in superb form, right? So now I think he's in a happy space. That's more important, right? Like now he'll get all the adulation for this, which 100% everything is deserved. So now it will be like, everyone's like, fine, calm down, right? So hopefully,
and I think this Pakistan
rather than anything else.
Yeah, and I think this Pakistan attack is much better than the 2016 Australia attack and that Sri Lanka attack, where he scored, I don't know what, 315, 40 overs. Like India had to score 315, 40 overs in, I think it was in Perth or whatever. But I think this Pakistan attack was much better than both those teams, Sri Lanka and the Australia one. So probably, definitely the great. Yeah.
And in any of those matches, the required run rate never got about 12. Like this is like 16. Like this is another territory, right? And the biggest game of all.
Yeah, 28 of 8. That's what India is calling outstanding. And like I said, I think it is a fantastic Diwali gift for everybody in India. Sanjay, any last parting thoughts before we wrap this? Looks like internet issues. Sanjay is frozen, same like Babar Azam and Pakistan fans, unfortunately. Oh, he's back. So Sanjay, any parting thoughts before we wrap and wish everybody Diwali?
No, obviously this is Diwali's come one day early, and what better way to celebrate it along with an India win against Pakistan, something which everyone looks forward to, and hopefully this will be the year that India breaks the drought of not winning ICC tournament. It's been 9-10 years. What a beautiful way it would be for all the senior players who are most likely not going to make it to the next T20 World Cup. So really pumped up and looking forward to the rest of the tournament, and we can now relax back at least for some time. And I'd be very amazed if India doesn't make it to the top two from this group. So hopefully some more exciting games to come up, and really excited for the rest of the tournament.
Excellent. Thank you, Adi, for joining in. Hopefully you will get some sleep. It's anyway Sunday. And Shivam, feel better. Sanjay, see you later for the next India game. For folks who have commented, really appreciate it. Enjoy the win and happy Diwali, India.